Hello, everybody, and welcome back to One Hub Racing. Here we are again on a Sunday afternoon for the P3 tier, and of course, joined alongside me in the commentary box is none other than Colin Mason, who's been on holiday this week. Welcome back, Col.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to tonight. Yeah, I've been on holiday in Aberystwyth in far west Wales for a week, so I didn't get as much practice in as obviously I would have liked, but ready and rearing to go for tonight.
Yes, it's shaping up to be an exciting race tonight. Obviously, we had the real life Formula One race around here earlier today. But Cole, streets of Baku, how many drivers is it going to claim here this evening? And we've got a full grid.
Yeah, I think the castle is going to have a nice collection of front wings at the end of this race. It's one of those corners where it's so easy. It's so narrow, isn't it? So it's so easy to prang your front wing there. But there's multiple places on this track, Nick, where you can damage your front wing.
Yeah, it's those M plates are gonna be gonna be flying around, and it'll be interesting to see how they cause safety cars and things like that. But I think the other thing, Cole, is ultimately you have to get close to these walls to be quick. So, and you can see Max there getting right close on the exit, using all of the road because that is the quickest lap time ultimately.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a bit Del Boy, isn't it? He who dares wins. You've really got to go as close as you dare to the concrete walls here, because that, like you said, Nick, that's exactly where the lap times are.
Yeah, and I think that this middle section that just seeing Max go through now is it can absolutely destroy your lap time, or you can gain 3 or 4 temps just by keeping it tight and tidy through there. But I think that all these drivers, and there's 20 of them, are going to be fighting to get those few extra temps, because when it's a full grid, Colt, it can often mean that one mistake can cost you quite a few positions. You can see Quinn coming towards the end of his lap now, just getting a car in front of him, getting nicely out of the way.
Yeah, it's great to see a P3 with a full grid, and what a track to have it on. Such a narrow circuit, so it's going to be very difficult for some of these drivers to come through, because we do have quite a few engine and gearbox penalties as well, as Max is the first driver to set a lap with a 41.7. Quinn does a 41 flat, followed by Zontol on a 40.3.
So some quick lap times already coming in, and you can see Jacob with a 39.9. So the first driver into 39s. Obviously, we know how quick Jacob is. Won last week's race in Spa. Burjax then goes even quicker with a 1:39.7. So some pretty quick lap times coming thick and fast. But with 20 drivers out there on track or out in the session, it's what you expect, Cole.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rubber laid down with 20 cars out there, so I expect to see some very, very quick lap times being set. I'm actually really interested to see how Quinn gets on this evening, because he's done exceptionally well here in the past at Baku. I've had some good fights, I think, with Lawrence, I think. Remind me if that's the case.
Now let's talk about this last section here, Cole. How important is it to get a good exit from the last braking zone? I think it's turn 16 to nail it, because you're full throttle through the fast left-right hander. As you see, Kene pops it up just in front of his teammate. But how important is it to get this run down? And do you think drivers ultimately are going to have to run lower downforce setups, because in the race, they're going to need that straight line speed?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be the key thing, because this straight is so long. And of course, the drivers take account, so they know they're going to be further back on the grid, and they're going to need that top speed to be able to overtake. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, a couple of drivers running zero on the wing at times.
Well, we know, as you mentioned, Cole, we've got some engine and gearbox penalties. Drivers taking new car wear parts. For those of you who don't know, all drivers have to take a new car at some point during the season. And Cole, why might drivers have picked Baku to be the one? You there, Cole? Not sure we've lost Cole momentarily, but whilst he's doing that, Jamie's on hot lap now, going through Castle section. 10 drivers to set a lap time at the moment, and being a street circuit, every lap that is done, it will ramp up more and more. The grip gets laid down, and ultimately the track gets quicker. We know that the weather's going to be set to clear for this qualifying session, as that's what it was selected on the wheel, announced during the pre-race show. Jamie going all the way over that curb there, which you've got to be careful. I think he's invalidated his lap time. You can often get the middle of the car stuck on that curb.
Can you hear me now, mate? Sorry,
I can hear you now, yes.
Lovely, lovely. Sorry, my headset's playing. Yeah, this I love this track, but yeah, going back to why so many taking penalties here. I think it's because there's a high chance of safety cars as well, so they can benefit from it. They know that they're going to be drivers in front of them who are going to make a mistake, lose their front wing, and then gain a place that way. So I am not surprised to see so many drivers taking engine penalties, and we will go through who's taken what later on.
Yeah, obviously we do a lobby restart. Grid penalties are applied, so it gives us a chance to talk about all those sorts of things. But let's focus on this qualifying session. Being a street circuit, Cole, how important do you think it's going to be to start right up there, as well, being that there's 20 drivers on the track tonight means, you know, plenty of chances of chaos. But if you're down towards the back of the grid, it's going to be really difficult to recover to some of the top positions.
Yeah, exactly that. I think, you know, there's going to be a danger of a DRS train as well. We saw it in the real life race earlier on this afternoon, and I think that's going to replicate here, where there is a danger you're going to get stuck in a DRS train. So if you can be ahead of that train, you're going to be in a much better position.
Yes, well, we expect to see some DRS trains, as we did see in real life today. JR Mason, by the way, popped up into 5th place with that lap, so 7 drivers, still to set a lap time. Who's on a lap? Hockey Knight's on a lap, touches the wall there, but was very close to the car in front, so perhaps getting held up there by Bolton, who's also on a quick lap. So ultimately maybe the gap wasn't timed correctly, which, you know, is... Oh, and Bolton goes into the wall. We said that's going to be a tricky corner, and you can see, has he got some wing damage? He does indeed have some wing damage. So I think Hockey Knight got away with his tap, but Bolton ultimately not doing so. Gaza currently in last place, moved down from the P2 tier earlier this season. Going through the castle section, Cole keeps it nice and tidy, attack that curve on the inside, and then just try and get on the power as early as possible, no matter how difficult it feels, because the rear of the car here, it's so rear grip limited, this track.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's what I've been struggling with myself in the practice sessions, is that rear grip, especially in the race situation. Question from Mikey: is damage on reduced? No, it is on standard. But yes, he was quite fortunate not to lose a front wheel there. Did wreck his front wing, but
just had to adjust some sound settings. Hopefully you'll be able to hear Colin a little bit better, as Gaza pops it up into 4th place, and he was given some slipstream by his teammate Quinn, who I believe now has just started his own flying lap. So Red Bull playing some clever games here, perhaps. How much would that have put Quinn off the start of his lap compared to how much it might have gained Gaza?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a very fine balance between getting a nice slipstream down the straight, getting into dirty air, and also putting the other driver off if he's a little bit too close. So it's a difficult balance to do.
And through this middle section of the track, that curve on the inside there can be really clunky. This next one here, the braking zone, is so important to try and get the car turned in and get it stopped. You can see Quinn here keeping it tidy through this section of the track, down into 2nd gear. Some drivers like to keep it in 3rd. Don't go all 4 wheels over that white line, or you will have your lap invalidated. And as we head through towards this tricky braking zone, You can use all of the track. Quinn deciding to use a lot of the curb there. Doesn't invalidate his lap time. So fair play to him. And then he's going to nail his exit here and dump the rest of his ERS all the way down this back straight.
Yeah, this is now, we're flat out all the way through these sets of corners now. And just keep it absolutely gunned. Wait for that DRS and pop it open. There it goes. And flat out to the light. Such a long straight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was hitting 214 miles an hour earlier on today. So we see that Bolton's been given a 5-place grid penalty for contact with J.R. Mason. So not sure where that's happened or what happened. Jamie's on a lap, by the way. There's a car in front of him, though. This car doesn't look like it's on a lap. It's going to have to get out of the way. This is really off-putting for Jamie here, and moves to the inside, but in my opinion, Colt, should have been done earlier.
Yes, I think that should have been done a couple of corners previously. That's certainly not going to help. I'm trying to work out who it was. Let me have a look. I think it is
Bolton, possibly?
Bolton, yeah, I think Bolton. But let's see what Jamie can do. He is getting a nice little bit of a tow from that Alpine, who is just about coming in the pit lane, so that will please him a little bit. And 42 flat puts him 13th.
So 3 drivers, Cole, yet to set a lap time currently in the pit lane. Quickest lap time from Jacob so far is a 1:39.5. And Birdjack's close behind. Birdjack's got a penalty last week for his reset to track. And we've got a new driver here as well of Mr. Zontel, who's been on the waiting list for some time, and he's come to join his good friend Kinney, who had his first race in Monza, I believe. So both of them in the McLaren, that's a strong pairing.
Yeah, that's a very, very strong pairing, I've got to be honest. That's going to be a very interesting set of drivers. I think they're in a track together as well, so that'll be some good teamwork there, I would have thought.
Miles, as he's coming into the pit lane, I believe he is, and this pit lane in itself, Cole, is something to be careful of. You could easily cause an accident or lose a wheel, or it's becoming kind of blind because of the bends. So another thing for drivers to hopefully have practiced as Miles comes into the pits, and you can see we've got Lind, who's currently out of fuel, I believe, heading back towards the pits.
Yeah, coming in the pit lane on low fuel mode and a missing front wing as well. So he's had a bit of an off somewhere, but he has got time just to put on a new set of tyres and head back out.
So 3.5 minutes left in the session. Jamie's about to come into the pits. So is he going to have... Oh, that's close with the wall there. Jamie's going to be tight to get in and out with 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Do you think he's got enough time, or is that his qualifying done?
That, I think, will probably be his qualifying done. I can't see them getting in and out quick enough, which is a bit of a shame for Jamie. But just trying to think who's going to be who's out on track at the minute.
You got Jack on his hot lap. So the Aston Martin driver, who showed really good pace in the first couple of rounds, but hasn't really been there through the last few races. What can he do? Currently down in 16th place. It's a long track here, isn't it, Cole? Lots of corners, and naturally, wherever there's a long track, you see the bigger gaps between the cars in qualifying.
Yeah, exactly that. And this track with about 4 million corners, certainly what it feels like at times, you are tending to get the bigger gaps around here. But I mean, look how close it is between, third and ninth. There's only half a second. There's 3 drivers with a 40.3, which is pretty bonkers.
Ride Dog's on a lap now, so lots of drivers on out laps. As Jamie, so Jamie's on an out lap. He does have enough time, Cole, so he'll be one of the last to cross the line. In the pits is Shiesty. There's a couple of drivers still leaving the pit lane now. They're going to have to absolutely nail this out lap, and they're going to have to contend with cars on hot laps. So Hockey Knight comes out, and the other Haas behind him, I believe, of Max, is on a hot lap. So Yeah, it's going to be a really tight end to the session. You can see all those drivers, all except two, are either out on their out lap or on their flying lap. And look at this, Max is getting held up here, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100% getting held up here. There's two drivers ahead. One of them does get out of the way. And I think it's his teammate ahead, is it? Yes, it is his teammate ahead. So it's Hockey Nye. Now, Hockey Nye is on an outlap, so he should be getting out of the way here, really, for Max, because Max is going to have some horrendous understeer with that dirty air.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've spoken about how dirty air is on this game, Cole, and how it can affect. Now, it looks to me like Hockey Knight's not getting out of the way. And this right here, and yeah, he's lost his wheel. Max has lost his wheel, yeah. So Hockey Knight has caused that for his teammate as the wheel goes absolutely crazy. Gaz is retired. Mr. Zontal's just starting his lap now, so Cole, keep an eye on those times on the left. There's going to be plenty of drivers trying to do their quickest time of the session. This is when the track, Cole, is at its absolute best.
Yeah, it really is. Now this is where we're going to see the times absolutely tumbling now. This is the perfect time to be on the track. The best time. I'm just having a look now, see how Jacob currently pole. Is he improving? Yes, he's 2/10 up, so Jacob's going to be improving. Kinney is 2/10 up as well. Quinn is about level, just half a tenth down.
So, through that middle section of the track, we'll keep an eye. So the flag's been gone, so Shiesty and Fury will not be improving. We know that. Gaza, Max and Matthias also won't. The rest of the drivers, they're on a lap. Craig comes into the pits. Jack Craig, sorry, I should say. And where's Jamie? Jamie's up as well. Hockey Knight's up. Damien isn't. Dr. Mew's down the skate road. Bolton's not improving. So keep an eye on those times at the top. Here comes the Mercedes of Burjack's got a little bit of a slip down the main straight there. And what's this going to be? This is going to be a quick lap.
Oh, look at that, a 39.284. What an absolute belter of a lap. But can Jacob pip it for pole? Here he comes down the back straight. What's it going to be from Jacob? It's a 39.4. It's better, but it's not as quick as Burjack's.
Kinney is up in the middle sector, touches the wall. Ooh. That's going to be possibly a bit of wing damage, yeah, end plate damage on that McLaren. So you can see he's struggling, goes over, almost completely over the curb there. So I don't think he'll be improving. Who else? Rydog won't be improving. He's on a sort of cool down lap. Hockey Knight is running no ERS, so I don't expect him to be improving. The Aston Martin isn't, and Dr. Mew isn't. So Cole, I think that is your grid. Well, not grid, yeah, qualifying.
Qualifying, yeah. Obviously our grid is going to dramatically change with all the penalties from the engine and gearbox, but that is our grid, or that's our qualifying results for Baku.
So the streets of Baku have already claimed a driver's front wheel. It just shows you on this game a corner that's normally flat, even in the race. Dirty air being that close, just understeered, didn't have the grip into the wall, and Max qualifying was over, but Rydog retires from the session, so the session is over, no one will improve. Burjack takes pole position, Jacob in second, Quinn in third, and Kinney in fourth. So those are your two front rows. Cole, one that comes up on our screen, I'll let you run through the order.
Yeah, as we just who we're on board with our pole setter for the time being, Burjack's. Yeah, of course we've got. Oh, my screen's gone blank. Hang on a second as it comes up. It's taking its time. Oh, I can read it from the stream. So we do have Burjack's on pole, Jacob in second place. Then it's Quinn, Kinney, Miles, Gaza, Zorfel, Mason in 8th, Linfark in 9th, Rydog completes the top 10. Then we have Max, Matthias, Jamie, Shiesty, Hockey Nye, Jack, Guest in 17th, Dr. Mew in 18th, Bolton in 19th, and Fury Formula 20th after having completing his qualifying ban for an instant in the safety car at Monza.
So we will ignore everything you're about to see on stream because the drivers will hopefully ready up as quick as possible. They will take some wheels off each other's car. We'll go back to the lobby. And then, Cole, we have some gearbox and engine penalties to talk about this evening. Lots of drivers choosing this track. We spoke about why earlier, but let's talk about who is doing what.
Yeah, so just a reminder, gearbox is 5 place grid penalty and an engine is 10. Drivers have to take at least one engine and at least one gearbox penalty per season. Now, and they cannot do it at the same track, so they can't take a 15 place grid penalty. So we have 2 drivers tonight who are taking their gearbox penalties. That is Jamie and Rydog. Now, taking their engine this race is Guest, Mason, Dr. Mew, Quinn, Jacob, and Hockey Nye. So Burjax will be on pole position.
So just a couple of drivers left to retire. So I think it's just Fury, who's usually the last, wants to give us a donut, but we'd rather get back to the lobby and get the grid set up, because from what you've just called out, Cole, it's going to be a pretty messed up grid in terms of, from what we just read out, it's going to be a big change.
Yes, it's going to be quite a different grid to what we saw from the qualifying. Just having a quick look now. Yeah, so I think, looking at that, I think it's going to be Burjax and Quinn on the front row. What a lap from Quinn that is, by the way, a 39.8. I'm sure he's delighted with that. That's an absolute stunner. Just proving, how good he is around this circuit.
Yeah, it's a track, you really have to be aggressive with, particularly in qualifying, and leave no margin out there, because, we spoke about getting close to the walls is how you're going to be quick around here. Let's talk about strategy, Colin. We expect not to see the soft tyres. Obviously, it's a mandatory 2-stop here at One Hub Racing, but we expect to see the softs only if there's kind of a late safety car. But it's really rear limited around here. The wear on the rears compared to the fronts is crazy.
Yes, it's something that I was struggling with quite a lot in our 2 p.m. practice session that we did. So it's something that these drivers are going to have to be a bit wary of. We may see drivers selecting hard tyres, the harder compound to get 2 hards as opposed to 2 mediums. That is something that might interest some of these drivers.
Yeah, hopefully at some point Codemasters will give us the option where more customization in terms of selecting the tyres, Cole, because a lot of drivers would love to start the race with 2 mediums and 2 hards, particularly somewhere around here. But ultimately,
Yeah.
the game only lets you select the balanced or the harder, which means you can't have 2 of each.
Yeah, exactly that. It is something that I wish they would have a little bit more customization than they do at the minute. But hopefully for the future we can get something along those lines. That would be brilliant. And another one I'd like, Nick, is fast pit stops at qualifying.
Yes, definitely. I think that's something we've been crying about for some time. Because sometimes qualifying, it's kind of it goes in a stage. Everyone comes out and then everyone's in the pits, and everyone comes out and everyone's in the pits. So, allowing drivers to do those fast pit stops. There's certain tracks, like I think Netherlands, Cole, where you could have done two laps on the set of soft compound tyres. So it would really mix up the qualifying strategy. But let's move on to the weather. So the adaptive weather system that we use here in One Hub Racing, what's it got in store for us in the race?
Yeah, so we know it's not going to rain, but we do have some clouds. So it's going to start off clear, then we're going to have light cloud, and then back to clear. So the drivers are not going to have to worry about any wet weather like we saw last week at Belgium.
Yes, so wet to dry to wet last week in Belgium. This week they'll be just using the dry compounded tyres, I expect. Obviously it is set to approximate, Cole, so you don't know, potentially there could be something. I know in the practice earlier, I think there was 12% chance of rain, so I don't know how far it goes on the scale in terms of when it's on approximate. But Jamie, the tier coordinator, just setting up the lobby with the changes, getting that grid right, which is a task in
This
itself tonight.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a task for himself at the minute. So I've sent him the grid, so he's got that, and then he's got the grid pen, so he'll be sorting that out. So please don't ready up until Jamie says so in the chat.
Alrighty, and Cole, this grid in the P3 tier, it's pretty different to the start of the season, but I guess now might be a good time to run through some championship standings. Not sure if you got it up on SimGrid.
Got the standards. So out in the lead at the moment is Jacob. He has a 91 points. He's had 3 victories. He's never been off the podium, so incredible consistency shown from Jacob. In second place at the minute, 30 points back, is Matthias on 61 points, who is without a shadow of a doubt having his best ever season with us at One Hub. He is driving exceptionally well. Mason now is in third. Don't forget, he did have that victory round Netherlands round 3. He's also on 61 points. In fourth place, we have Burjax closing the gap slowly. He's on 54 points. Jamie's in fifth with 46 points. Kene is rapidly bringing himself into it after 2 podiums. He's now on 31 points. Hockey Nye in 7th, also on 31 points. Jack Craig in 8th on 26. Quinn in 9th on 13. The Fury Formula 10th on 12. Same as Miles on 12, down in 11th. Gazzaman is also on 11. Then we have Shiesty. Riley's left. Then we have Max. So Max is on 5 points, and Rydog on 4 points in 18th. 19th we have Guest on 4 points. Dr. Mew did get a point, which I was delighted for him, having gotten a 10th at round 3. And Lindvak and Zontel yet to score, but of course it's their first race.
Cole, I think that your dad should probably be ahead of Matthias on countback because he's got the win. Not sure how SimGrid does it, but that would be my understanding of how the countback would work.
Yeah, I think they do it at the end. I think, if I remember rightly, we had this before, and SimGrid calculates that when the season's finished. So I think it sorts itself out properly at the end, which is a bit odd. But yeah, funny enough, Dad mentioned this as well to me. He said, shouldn't I be second? So technically speaking, at this point, Mason is in second place, having that victory. Now, if we quickly go over to the constructors'
it's
standings,
looking pretty tight at the top of the constructors, Colt.
Yeah, this is a blinder, isn't it? So Williams are on 107, Ferrari on 103, just 4 points in it. How close is that? Kick Sauber then on 67 points, Merck on 61, McLaren on 36. That's a bit different, isn't it, to the real Formula One? Haas on 36 as well, Red Bull on 34, Aston Martin on 30, Visa Cash App on 11, and the Alpine team on 10 points.
So all to play there in both championships. Of course, you score points up to 12th position in One Hub Racing, and there's also a point available for the driver who sets the fastest lap within the top 10, and the driver who sets the fastest lap outside the top 10. So, Cole, even if you're down in 20th place, there's still something to race for, and we potentially could see some late pits here to try and get those softs on and get that fastest lap and that point.
Yeah, and for driving to go, it's only a point. It doesn't matter. I've probably said this about 40 times, but I'm still going to say it. Last season, in the P2 tier, if Rich had 1 more point out of the 12 rounds that we entered, he would have been champion instead of J-Luke. So it goes to show every single point matters.
It definitely does. We've got the okay from this tier coordinator that the grid has been set. And so we will get the drivers into the session. Cole, they'll be selecting their fuel, selecting their strategy. What do you expect to see the favourable strategy here tonight?
I actually think the favourable strategy is probably going to be medium, hard, hard, or medium, hard, medium. It's probably going to be one of those two. But if we've got a very, very late safety car, some drivers might decide, you know what, I'm going to risk it on the softs at the end. Or, you know, some drivers might bank on a very early safety car and start on the softs. That we will have to wait and see, and we won't need to wait too long as we are now loading the lobby.
Yeah, so great to see a full grid here in the P3 tier. Obviously, P2 will be live at 6 o'clock, and then the P1 tier, Cole, where we're racing, will be live at 7:30. So you've got a night full of one hub racing here this evening, and a track like Baku, Cole, it's going to be entertaining.
I have never ever watched a league race, one hub race around Baku that wasn't ridiculously excited. So strap yourselves in, people. This is going to have a lot of action. We're going to have a lot of fun with this one. And I honestly cannot call this. This is going to be so difficult. It's so easy to make mistakes. You can see the front wings in the pit lane. I expect to see a lot of them being put on some cars at some point during this race.
Yeah, I think if you keep it out the barrier, keep it clean here, you'll find yourself scoring points. You know, you'll be in the top 12. So it's about that consistency. And, you know, Cole, we've often spoken about this within a race. You can't drive the way you do in qualifying. You can't drive 110%. You've got to kind of allow yourself a bit more, you know, room for error in the race, because it can all be over so quickly, and particularly around a track that has a wall either side.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, you can't afford to be flat out every lap in a race around a circuit like Baku. You know, you're going to have to play the percentages. It's all very well, you know, setting the fastest lap in qualifying, but if you can only do that 1 out of 5 laps and the other ones you're in the wall, then that ain't going to be any good for the race.
No, it definitely isn't. So we can see the pit lane here. We expect it to be a busy one. And I think the other thing to consider, Cole, is you see the safety car down there in the pit lane. You know, that can really change the outcome and the strategy, not just by it coming out, but drivers, if it comes out at the right time, drivers haven't stopped yet versus drivers who have, they'll be losing a lot less time stopping whilst that safety car is out, or even the VSC.
Yeah, exactly that. And you could just about see the entrance to the pit lane there as well on stream. That I could see drivers getting 10-second time penalties here as well, and even hitting the wall here. I mean, I was astonished watching George Russell this afternoon fly through that little chicane into the pit lane. The commitment that he had going in that pit lane was astonishing. Very, very high risk, high reward tackling that pit lane, but it could make the difference.
So Jamie, the tier coordinator, has given the go-ahead for drivers to ready up. Remember, there's no formation lap this season due to a bug that it has. So we will basically get straight to the front of the grid as soon as all the drivers, or the countdown's gone down from 30. So we'll get to see what tyres everyone's on. We'll get all the graphics up on screen as quickly as possible. Cole, short run down to turn 1. Do you expect to see too much? Obviously, the Tech Pro barrier on the right-hand side on the exit can sometimes be tricky.
Yeah, and here we go. 5 red lights are out, and we're racing in Baku. Who gets the good start? Burjack's down the inside, but he's in the middle. Always a bit of contact, but they have managed just to get through safely. There's a car in the background off. I think it's an AlphaTauri.
Yeah, so the Alpine, and you see someone, I think it's Max, has someone trying to go down the inside there into turn, making it 3 wide into turn 2, but shuffling for position down this next back straight. You can see that again, another couple of cars side by side, and they're about to go 3 wide further on here. This is going to end badly, and it has with a Sauber out. Matthias, second in the championship, is out of this race, and I believe we have a safety car.
Yeah, that's disastrous for Matthias. I didn't quite catch it, but there is a lot of front wings. Oh, Bolton gets a drive-through penalty for ignoring the yellow flag, so he obviously overtook a couple of drivers there. He's now going to get a drive-through penalty, so it's a bit of a bunched-up grid in the back. So I'm just going to try and get it right. Miles has damage. Mason has damage. Who else has damage? Let's have a look.
There's an issue going on down the back. Looks like drivers are kind of stopped, trying to sort out their positions. So your dad's down there as well, but the biggest losers from this are Miles, lost 7 positions, and Mr. Zontal has lost 12 positions. Icy's lost 7. And do you know who actually had a really good start? It was Miles. He was on the outside of turn 1, and then just kind of got swamped there a little bit, and had to lift off, and then lost the momentum on the run down to turn 2. But Quinn up 8 places, so Jamie up 6 as well. Fury, Formula up 8, but I can imagine that Matthias is going to be bitterly disappointed to be out of this race. Let's see if anyone boxes, Cole.
Yeah, I think we might see a few boxing, if it's not just only to repair the damage to their car. I'm just having a look now to see are any drivers peeling off into the pit lane.
Someone
yes,
is. Kinney
is in, Gazaman is in, Quinn is in. There's a considerable amount of drivers coming into the pit lane. Pretty much everyone's coming in, actually, apart from the top 3. So let's see what tyres everyone chooses to go on. Jack was on the softs. He's now selected the hard tyre.
Yeah, so if you've selected the harder strategy, of course, you will have 2 hard compounds to be able to use throughout this race. So, you know, boxing off those mediums and onto a set of hards, you can go to, obviously, run the hards a little bit longer each stint and make them last. But Jacob there down in now 11th place. That's your championship leader. Second, the guy in second, out of contention. JR Mason down in 15th place. So it's going to be tricky to. I don't think we're going to be able to work out exactly what happened to some of these drivers there, Cole, until we see some POVs.
Yeah, exactly that. It's one of those very difficult turn 1s where it's very wide on the way in and then it narrows on the exit. I did notice Mason did not change his front wing. Now, was that deliberate, or was that because obviously with this game, if you've got a little bit of damage, you do need to change it to repair damage to yes rather than automatic, and I wonder whether Mason has forgotten to do that. But that we'll have to wait and see.
Jamie's got a 10-second penalty, currently in 4th place. I'm not sure how he's got that, but unfortunately he will have to serve that because he hasn't stopped. I don't know if you're able to see on Race Director, Cole. Bojack's almost pushing the safety car out of turn 16. Wants it to hurry up. It's not coming in this lap though, or if it is, it would be an extremely late call. Probably going to go one more and wait for the drivers at the rear of the field to back up. So Bolton also has a drive-through, just showing everyone on their screen, and you can see the top 7 haven't stopped. Everyone from 8 down has. So Kinney, strictly speaking, Cole, is your race leader.
Yes, he is at this stage. But Jamie is very clever. Now this shows the experience of Jamie now. We know we're doing another lap under the safety car. He'll come in the pit lane, stick on a different set of tyres, and he can get rid of his 10-second penalty. Mason's also coming in the pit lane. Now I suspect this is to change his front wing now. So some very good tactics from the Williams boys. Yes, it's gone a bit pear-shaped for them, but they've chosen the right thing to do, although Mason's going to be all the way out the back because he's obviously waiting, and Jamie's replacing his front wing as well. So yeah, some good tactics by the Williams drivers, and they might be able to get to the back of the field.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think they will be able to catch that Cole, only because the safety car goes so slow around through that caster section. So as long as they put their foot down, I mean, Jamie's come out now, and what's happened here? He's gone straight on. He's gone straight on at. He's had to reverse on track. He's gone straight on at turn 2. That is. So we know, Cole, that the hards are so cold when you first put them on, particularly with this heavy fuel. So I think these guys will catch up, Cole, no problem.
Yeah, I was actually on board Jamie then. Yes, it was a mistake, but I'm actually going to class it as a great piece of driving, to be perfectly honest with you, because he realised, I'm not going to make the corner, I'm going to go straight down the escape route instead. If he tried to make the corner, he would have been in the wall and he would have to box again. So he did well to make that very late decision. I'm going to go down the escape road instead.
Well, we have all but the top 6 have completed one stop so far. And you can see obviously what tyre compound everyone in. No one on the soft tyres as we expected them not to be a favourable race tyre. Now, is the safety car going to come in? It's going to be a very late call if it does. But what do you expect to see Burjax do? Back the field up, and you can see Lynn there is getting extremely close to the Mercedes and the safety car. So the safety car is staying out for another lap, Cole, which your dad and Jamie will be very happy about. Gives them time to catch up. But yeah, 3 laps, pretty much all under the safety car. Who's coming into the pits now? Fury Formula.
Oh, so Fury has decided, I'm going to box now, so this is a late call. What's he going to go on? I think he's going to go on another set of medium tyres. So Fury has done his stop now. He will come out, I would have thought, just in front of... no, he will be behind Mason and behind Jamie as well. I suspect on the restart, Burjax will do what Verstappen did and go pretty late, because the last thing you want to do is give a tow to the drivers behind. So I think Burjax will probably leave it as late as he did. I suspect the safety car will come in at the end of this lap as well.
You can see that the drivers, Cole, who are on the, I mean, even the mediums, but particularly the drivers who are on hard, this safety car is going so slow. They are really going to struggle when it comes in. And I expect to see more than one driver going down the escape road. If not a turn 1, definitely turn 2 or 3.
Oh yes, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, because we've been behind this safety car for a couple of laps now. Those tyres on the cars must be absolutely stone cold. So they're going to have very, very little grip when they head into turns 1 and 2, and even 3 and 4, to be honest.
So Matthias just confirming in the chat, obviously being hard on himself, thinking that his championship's over. Of course, it's not over, Cole. You know, his nearest rival is down in 9th and 18th place, so it's not over. But it's saying it was his mistake. His brake just didn't work for him. So ultimately, he's out of this race. But I don't expect him to be the last car that doesn't manage to complete all 26 laps. And you can see the safety car is coming in this lap. So the Mercedes of Burjax now becomes the effective safety car. But he's got to be careful. Not only does he not want to go early and give the drivers behind the slipstream, but he doesn't want to catch the safety car up before it's come into the pit lane. Otherwise, we've seen chaos from that before.
Yeah, exactly that. So he's got to be a bit careful. Does look like he's doing the Max Verstappen technique. Those lazy days, and he's gone. He is now flat out heading down into turn 1. Lynn back behind him. Zonto having a look at Rydon, and there's a lot of movement going on in the back.
Yeah, the other McLaren having a bit of contact, manages to survive. I'm not sure if that was with the Red Bull. There's a Haas in the background there, but it all looks pretty safe and clean so far. Fury Formula still at the back. Obviously, Bolton's got that drive through, so he's going to lose a lot of time. Couldn't serve it behind the safety car, but Burjax leads us away. Not too many position changes there, but look at McLaren. 4th and 5th currently. And just to remind everyone who's stopped and who hasn't.
And we got a big accident in the background. Sorry, Quinn is in the wall. I don't know what happened. I just saw him slide. I think he had a bit of contact from someone. Bolton has also lost his front wing. Guest is spun round as well. Fury Formula's lost part of his front wing. I'm just going to have a look at the other cars now. I think everyone else... No, one of the Hockey Nye has also lost his front wing. So, a bit of chaos at the back.
Yeah, I said turn 3, someone will be in the escape road. Unfortunately for Quinn, it was him. He'll be, disappointed because, as you said earlier, he's got such great speed around this track. But here we go, a position change here. Max gets ahead of Dr. Mew. That's for 7th and 8th position between the Haas and the RP. You can see Dr. Mew just being very careful through that curve. Heavy fuel, and Jacob just behind is going to look to try and get past Dr. Mew here. It's superior speed on the Ferrari, but he's got to pick his moment.
Yeah, he's got to pick your moment now. DRS not available quite yet. Look, he's left and right. Jacob trying to find the the gap to the car. There he goes down the inside. Dr. Bu having a great start to this race, by the way. He was pretty far back in 9th place. Shiesty also gets past Jack Craig as well.
Yeah, and almost runs into the back of his teammate. That's allowing the Aston Martin to challenge back. So still on the inside is Shiesty. Is he going to give room to the Aston Martin? Yes. And it looks like that was team orders. Wasn't very well orchestrated if it was, Cole. And Dr. Mu losing a few positions now. You can see Miles trying to recover. Got that rear wing open. Is he going to get the position on the Aston? He has the inside line. And job done.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of contact with barriers as well, and seeing a lot of front wings flicking off. Just looking at the chat, Quinn has rear wing damage, so he's going to be really struggling. But according to Jess, it doesn't feel too bad, he says. So, as Bolton gets a 10-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit line. So Bolton having a nightmare of a race.
Yeah, obviously had that drive-through, he's come in to serve it, and made a further mistake, which has ultimately cost him big time. Look at Kinney all over the back of Rydog now, so the McLaren men are on an absolute charge. We've got some new title contenders, perhaps, Cole, if this McLaren team can, they're good friends in real life, can they move forward and bring McLaren back up to how they're doing in real life towards the later end of the season?
Yeah, McLaren really are on an absolute roll here. They really are absolutely flying. So 3rd and 5th at the minute. Gazzaman having a great race up in 7th in the DRS zone as Kinney is challenging Rydog as Burjack sets the fastest lap of the race, and Kinney now up into P4.
Yeah, good pass, nicely executed with the helping hand of DRS. Miles is just getting another position. He looks incredibly quick. Back up into 9th, obviously had that early wing damage on the LP, and who else is moving forward? Quinn recovering. We're hearing though that he has rear wing damage, Colin.
Yeah, that's not going to be helpful for him at all.
Where's this?
And Lindvak is out. Lindvak.
Oh, he's hit the barrier.
I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I've just caught him then.
Turn 3, you can see. Lost both wheels.
What a shame for Lindvak. He was having an absolute blinder of a race, driving absolutely brilliantly. And that is both Alfa Romeos out of this race by lap 7. What a disaster for the Kick Sauber teams.
Now, is this a full safety car or a VSC? As Dr. Muse exiting the pit lane, Bolton comes in, he'll serve his 10. Oh no, it's a virtual safety car I can see from the board on the castle section. So Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes and Red Bull, your top 5. Jacob moves up a position for that as well, but has a 5-second gap to those drivers. And let's just show you again who has stopped and who hasn't. So Burjack, Sontel and Rydog yet to complete any pit stops.
Yeah, that's going to make life difficult for them, as Jack Craig gets a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Now, unfortunately, Jack's going to have to serve that in the pit lane, so I don't know what he did there, but he will have to serve that in the pit lane. I'm surprised that he managed to do that, because that's obviously under the VSC, so he's made a big mistake there. Bolton gets another drive-through, so that's another drive-through penalty for Bolton. Poor old Bolton, not having a fun afternoon at the minute.
What happened to Mr. Zontel there? Mr. Zontel's got a drive-through as well, Cole. So the McLaren, who was in 2nd, has got a drive-through, and he's just been passed on the track by Gaza. That pass was done as Guest now retires. Is that in the pit lane? Nope. That is on track through the high-speed section, Cole. So
he's lost it there. Quinn, he's got front wing damage, so Quinn's going to be coming in the pit lane now as well. Jack and Zoltan in the pit lane. Zontel obviously doing his drive-through penalty, and it's another VSC, and Bolton gets another drive-through.
God, he's got to just go slower. He's unless he's got some sort of glitch, Cole. He's almost stopped on track, so maybe he's got some sort of issue. We'll check everyone's pit stops afterwards, but it's still virtual. So the virtual safety car is still out. None of the leaders other than Zontel choosing to come into the pit. Shiesty's now got a drive-through. So
this is obviously very, very difficult for these drivers to stay under that delta. It's obviously jumping around a little bit because we've had a lot of drivers get drive-through penalties now.
We're back underway.
Mason's got a penalty. What's he got? Mason's got a drive-through penalty as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers with drive-through penalties.
It's going to be a busy pit lane, but they'll be coming in, won't be able to do any work on those cars. Bojack seems to have got a 6-second lead through that virtual safety car period. So he's obviously timed it to perfection. He's had no issues with Delta. And you can see Ride Dog and Gaza bringing up the rear. Looks like obviously Kinney, remember, and Gaza have stopped. The two Mercedes haven't.
Yeah, so I've never seen that many drive-thrus for anyone really. So Sheisty's going to be coming in. Mason's going to be coming in. Shiesty actually decides he's going to do it at another time, so he's driving past at the minute. Mason's coming in to serve his drive-through. And obviously we got Jack, and I think it's Jack and Fury. Let's have a little look. Yeah, Jack and Fury and Bolton yet to serve theirs as well.
So Mason and Zontil in. I wonder if, if I was in this sort of situation, I'd try and do it with someone else so that we can try and stay within DRS of each other when we ultimately rejoin the track right at the back of the field. But 3 drivers now out of this race, both Salvas and Matthias confirming that he pressed the brake and nothing happened. So Jack Craig, where's he now retired?
Oh, and Jack is out of the race as well. And where is that? What part of the circuit is that? I can't see that.
It's gone green, so potentially it's just yellow flag. So maybe on the entrance to the pit pole?
Yeah, maybe retired in the pit lane possibly. Which is strange to do on lap 8 of 26, so I don't know whether he had an issue of some sort. But Mason's done really well, actually. If you look, he's done his drive-through, but he's still in 10th. So it just shows what a topsy-turvy race this has been, that he can do his drive-through and still be in 10th place.
So your championship leader in 5th. Let's just show everyone who stopped what. So Burjax and Rydog, the only 2 drivers yet to complete a pit stop. J.R. Mason and Hockey Knight and Quinn and Fury Formula and Bolton have all completed the mandatory 2 pit stop. Are we going to see a pass here? Jacob sailing past Gaza on the inside there. Yep, job done. Such a tricky braking zone, turn 1, but ultimately that move has been done. And will Gaza fight back? I'm not sure he's going to be able to do so. Looks like the Ferrari has. Yeah, the Ferrari is out of DRS, so Gaz might have a chance here.
Yeah, he might have a little look down the inside. No, thinks better of it. Shiesty in the pit lane now, serving his drive-through penalty. But Gazaman now, he's in a good position here. He's in the top 5. He can use Jacob's DRS to try and pull him back towards the likes of Rydog and Kenny. Burjax has checked out at this stage. Burjax showing brilliant pace here.
Yeah, he definitely is on those hard compounded tyres, which will at this stage be, better than the mediums of Kinney and Shiesty. So, yeah, really interesting race so far. I feel like we've spent a lot of time behind the safety car or with some yellow flags and virtual safety car again. So, what has happened now?
What's that for? Now, I'm just going to have a look to see if anyone's missing any front wings. Fury stops on the track again, which he must not do. And he actually got a quali ban for doing that a few races ago. I'm a bit confused as to what happened there. I can't see anything major. Don't know whether any... Jess, I know, is engineering Quinn. I don't know whether Jess has any clue as to what that could be. I'm just having a look at Miles, because Miles has suddenly dropped back off. Miles has lost the entirety of his front wing, so that was the VSC. I noticed there was a big gap. So Miles in 6th place is going to have to pit. The top guys are pitting now as well.
Mercedes are double stacking, so was the gap big enough? Yes, I think it is. Is a little bit of a wait for Ride Dog, but ultimately he's going to come out. So Jacob back in the lead, Gaza in 2nd, closely behind Burjax. So Kinney is coming in to complete his 2nd pit stop.
Yes, so Kinney now has 2 stops to his name. He does not need to stop again. But taking medium tyres 15 laps, Nick, that's going to be quite tricky.
Yes, it definitely will. The last few laps are going to feel awful, but as we've seen so far, anything can happen. What's going on between Rydog and Jamie? It looks like Jamie's just gained the position, but maybe that's what the game was telling him to do. Fury Formula gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Rydog is right on the back of Jamie, looking like he wants to re-overtake. So Rydog goes back past. Safety car. British safety car has ended. But it almost was like Jamie gave him that one back. So strange, but nevertheless, Gaza 1.2 now behind your new race leader of Jacob. But Kinney is the net race leader because he has stopped twice.
Jess just asking a question. What's the rule in being under AI? So you must not be under AI for a long period of time. I can't remember exactly. I will have to check the rule setting exactly, but you mustn't be under AI for too long. It must be a short period that you're under AI. Nick, I don't know whether you can remember the exact ruling.
So you're responsible for your car the entire time, and if you disconnect and AI is driving, you've got to show that you weren't able to be in control of the car and just chose not to be. Otherwise, the stewards would look at that in terms of a penalty, just to keep it unsportsmanlike. But let's jump back on with Hockey Night because he is chasing down through this long back straight pole. DRS is going to open now. Is he going to get this job done?
Let's see. He's getting closer, but he's not quite close enough yet. But he has a look down the inside. He's not quite far enough. Shiesty leaves a little bit of room. Oh, a bit squirrely on the exit. But he's going to have another opportunity now into turn 3 because there's another DRS zone down here, Nick.
Yeah, and it's a tricky place to pass because they're 90-degree corners, directly after both DRS zones. But looks like the RB is going to keep the position for now and they'll continue on for another lap. Miles, on the other hand, is trying to get the job done on JR Mason. Lifts off slightly to allow Mason the space and thinks better of it. Miles looks like he's a man driving with a bit of anger at the moment. Is he going to try anything into this little chicane? No, lifts off and thinks better of it. And John's a sensible man. He knows exactly that is not close to it.
Yeah, it's there's plenty of overtaking places here, and that ain't one of them. So Miles sensibly decides to wait. You know, we got a DRS zone coming up as well, but he doesn't want to get held up by Mason too much because he wants to get. He's got the pace to do very well in this race, so he needs that. As Mason touches the wall, I think he got away with it. Just got away with it, I must say. But now. This is Miles's perfect opportunity.
Yeah, Burjack setting the fastest lap of the race, currently in 3rd position. So I had to sink slightly in terms of pit stops, but you can see here now that Gaza, your dad isn't even going to fight this one. Burjack does get ahead on the next point. We'll stay on board with this one. Burjack got that job done into turn 3, and Miles has got his done into turn 1, and he continues on. So, Gaza in 3rd position now in the podium position. Max in 4th, Kinney in 5th. Cole, let's have a quick look at the stops. So we can see that Kinney stopped twice, as has Miles and Mason and Hockey Night inside the top 10. So this is really, really interesting because Kinney is on a completely different strategy. Burjack has only stopped 1, but on the same strategy. So working out who's in the best position is going to be extremely tricky for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment, Kinney's in a very, very good position here. He's on 2 lap old hards. They probably could go to the end here, but they're not going to be much fun towards the end of the race. But he has completed his 2 stops, so he's in a very, very good position.
So Burjack did get the gap down to 7/10, but it's gone back up to 1.2, and Gaza's now back within DRS, so he must have made a mistake at turn 16. But you have to say, we've got yellow flags in sector 1. There's a car off in the escape road,
Dr.
to
Mew.
Dr. Mew. So recovering and back underway. But I'd say the two quickest drivers, Burjax and Jacob, they are now first and second. And I don't really think we've seen them battle too much, Cole, because of penalties and missing races and things like that.
No, that's right. I think this is going to be the first true battle between these two drivers. The Mercedes-Ferrari battles of old are going to come back with Gazerman saying, yeah, do you know what? That party looks fun. I want to have a little go at that. And
Speaking, just going to say, Mr. Zontal got the job done into the top 10 on Hockey Night in that McLaren. So the McLaren driver trying to recover from that penalty that he had, which I think was a drive-through. So Burjax now on the back of Jacob, obviously on those fresher tyres, Cole.
Yes, that's going to be quite key at this point, is getting these fresh tyres at the right time. Not pitting too early. You know, we've had so many safety cars. Getting the strategy right here is very, very difficult. As Hockey Nye has got front wing damage. Just spotted there that he's missing his front left end plate. So that's not going to be helping him at all.
So Miles now on the back of Jamie. Miles looks like a man on an absolute mission at the moment, Cole. Flying in that Alpine. I don't know if you're able to check, I don't know to do it on stream, but check his lap times and what they're in comparison to Burjax, who's in second.
Let's have a look.
Speaking of which, Burjax isn't going to be in second for long, thinks about it, but decides to tuck in behind the Ferrari and wait another lap, or potentially into turn 3. So it's starting to get tasty. Kinney's closing in on Max on the Haas, who's having a great race, by the way, in 4th. Rydog in 6th position there, and Jamie 12 seconds further back on those hard compounder tyres.
Yeah, so I've just been looking at Miles' lap times, and they are matching the leaders. He's certainly on the leader's pace at this stage of the race. So he's got 12-second gap to catch up to Rydog. That's going to be very difficult to close. But he's got a lot of pace.
He definitely does. And speaking with pace, the top two are about to lap, I believe, Dr. Mew, who's struggling a little bit out there. But, you know, we've seen before in Baku, we've already lost 5 drivers. We could lose a few more, and then it's just a case of being able to, take the checkered flag and taking the points that come with it. But we'll stay on board with this battle, Cole, because it is for the lead, although they're out of sync in terms of strategy. They've both only stopped once.
Yes, and that could be... that's going to be crucial now, whether there's going to be any late safety cars, because that could really, really save their race. They're going to be praying for a safety car at this stage. Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, the Ferrari sliding the rear, and I did say it was rear limited, 13-lap old hards, and you can see exactly that they're not very fun to drive compared to Burjax's nice new medium. So will we see Jacob come into the pits here, or is he going to try and continue and fight this on?
No, he's going to continue on, but Burjax is going to go, thank you very much. I'll have that lead now. And Burjax in the Mercedes now leads this race.
Oh, but is the Ferrari going to go back at him into turn 2, Cole? Inside line, side by side, giving each other room. Fair play.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. But Jacob's going to have DRS again, down towards turn 3. Oh, he doesn't have it, actually, which I'm surprised at.
It looked like neither of them had it, actually, Cole. But the Ferrari tucking back in and thinking he'll better wait as Jamie and Mr. Zontil come into the pit lane, as does Hockey Night. So those 3 drivers coming to complete another and probably final stop that will take them to the end of the race. Are we going to see any safety cars, virtual safety cars here? Who knows? Jacob, though, staying within touching distance of the Mercedes. They both got to stop once more, so you would say that the Burjax has the advantage, Cole, which is interesting because we thought that stopping behind the safety car at the beginning of the race, if you didn't, was a mistake, but Burjax showing us that that's not the case.
Yeah, exactly that. But I'm just having a look now, so just to remind everyone, the top 3 drivers are yet to complete their 2 stops. Max and Rydog in 5th and 6th are yet to complete their stops. Everyone else has. Now, that doesn't mean to say that they might need to do another pit stop because their tyres are gone. Mason being one of them. Max will need to stop again anyway, but Mason I would suggest Quinn are certainly going to need to stop again.
Here comes Jacob. He is completing his second stop, so he will get the undercut on Burjack's. Gaza moves up. And whilst this is all going on, you can see Ride Dog attacking Max, who's now coming into the pit lane. So he gains a position as well. So, yeah, really interesting strategy that these Mercedes are on. Are they on the best strategy, or is Kinney on the best strategy? Remember, Kinney's already completed 2 stops.
Yes, as Jacob leaves the pit lane, he's on fresh, hard tyres. And he's now going to go and hunt down Rydog. I would suspect that Berjak is probably going to come in the pit lane very, very soon, as he's seen his rival behind him box. So I suspect that Berjak and probably Gazaman will be in very soon.
Obviously, those hard tyres do take a little bit to heat up, so the undercut when you go onto the hards isn't crazy, but it's, you know, compared to 15-lap-old hards that Gaz is on, it's still going to, you know, be gaining. And we can see there is a car off in the background, and I think that's Dr. Muse. So Dr. Muse recovering, about to be lapped by these chain of cars. And meanwhile, whilst that's going on, Mr. Zontol has his DRS open on his debut, and in 11th place at the moment, fighting the man who knows exactly where to place his car when defending.
Yes, something did happen to Mason that I don't know what, because he was about 2 seconds behind Jamie. He is now 7 seconds behind Jamie. So, has Mason hit the wall again? Do you know, he's been very fortunate there not to damage his front wing. I'm surprised that his front wing is still intact. He will be breathing a sigh of relief there.
And you can see Jacob is about to get the job done on Rydog, which will take him to net P2. Gaza stays out. Burjax is in the pit skull. This is going to be close between these two.
Oh, this is going to be mighty, mighty close. Jacob coming round, and he's in the lead. It's not as close as we thought. Look at the undercut that he's managed. And of course, Berjak is going to be on the colder tyres, but look at the tyres he's got, Nick. Berjak is on the medium tyre, Jacob on the hard.
Ride Dog completes his second pit stop as well, so he'll come out in 7th place for now, just behind Max, who completed his second pit stop. So Max is still in a really good position here. Miles is going to have to stop again. Gaza, as Miles touched the front wall there, I'm sure I heard that. M-plates still seem like they're intact. And Max is retired!
Max is out! What happened to Max? Max is in the wall. He's lost his front wheel.
Turn 3.
Turn 3 has caught so many drivers out. And Zoltel gets a 10-second time penalty for a collision with Mason as well. And he's lost his front wing. So, are we under a safety car?
No, virtual safety car. So, perfect for Gaza and those looking to complete their last stop. But ultimately, Kinney is your net race leader with Jacob, Burjax, Miles. Miles needs to stop again. Yeah, what a crazy race. We said just keeping it on track will mean that, you know, you can score some points, but we saw from Max a moment of concentration and yeah, race over.
Yes, now Gaza, if he's going to box this lap, which I suspect he will, let's have a look. Yes, so because Gaza's going to get a short pit stop here, Nick, because
it's just ended. It's just ended.
He's going to be absolutely fuming with that. That was almost timed to perfection. But let's see where he comes out. Shiesty, another driver that gets a drive-through penalty, unfortunately. As we got Zontel in the wall. Zontel is out of the race. He had a front wing damage, and now he's in the wall with no wheel. And that is our 7th retirement.
Yeah, and is that going to be another save? No, it's gone green flag. So that was in the last section of the race. You can see that Fury almost goes into the wall there at the chicane before the castle section. So, and almost hits it again. So drivers, as the cars are getting lighter, Cole, they are pushing beyond the limits of what, you know, what the cars are capable of, or they're driving. You can see that Shiesty now comes in Mason up into 8th position. So the Williams, who were last at the end of the first safety car period, are now 7th and 8th.
Yeah, so that's a good recovery from the two Williams boys. Bit of a gap between them now, so which means that they can just settle down a little bit. Jamie's got 12 seconds ahead. Mason's 8 seconds behind, but Quinn's behind him by 14 seconds, so they can just settle down a little bit. Shiesty, he's got front wing damage as well, so he's going to have to box again. This is one of the most action-packed races I've ever seen in one hub, Nick.
So just to confirm, everyone has now completed their 2-stop. Kinney leads us away, but is on the offset. We got yellow flag. Hockey Knight's out. So what's happened here? Oh, as the Ferrari almost hits the wall there. Hockey Knight looks like it's turn 3 again, Cole. Green flags though, so I think we've used all of the allocated VSCs and safety cars. And Hockey Knight passes the scene of the accident as Burjack sets the fastest lap of the race. He has 6 laps to cut that lead down, 4.5 seconds as things stand, but he's got Burjacks all over him on quicker tyres as well. Miles comes into the pits for his final stop, and Fury Formula really playing with the walls. And I said to Dr. Mew, all he has to do is keep it on track, and he could finish in the points.
Yes, so now whoever finishes this race, as long as each driver, I mean Fury really is playing a dance of death with these walls here. On the soft compounder tyre, they're not going to be in a nice state towards the end of the race. But Dr. Mew could certainly, so he'll be inheriting 12th place in a lap or so, because he is a lap down, but that will be a point. So if all the drivers finish now, they will get a point, Nick.
Yeah, and speaking of points, Burjacks and Jacob closing in rapidly on Kinney, who you have to say has done a brilliant job. Only his 3rd race in one hub, finished on the podium twice, looking to make it 3. Gaza looks like he's going to be finishing outside of the podium positions, but I think what's going to save Kinney here is if these two start battling really hard.
Yes, that's what's going to be the key to this race. Now, Jacob does have 6-lap younger hard tyres. Now, that is going to make a huge difference come the end of this race. We've still got another 6 laps to go, so those hard tyres are not going to be in the best of conditions as Burjacks takes 2nd place from Jacob.
Setting the fastest lap on the process, of course, with DRS, and you can see the McLaren in front. So you feel it's almost a matter of time, Colt. Burjack's looking like he's got the pace on Jacob on those different tyre compounds at the moment. Miles has, by the way, completed his final stop and come out in 6th position, just ahead of the 2 Williams boys. So Dr. Mute slots in 212. Shiesty pitted for a new set of mediums last time around, and Burjacks has got the gap over a second to Jacob. So, as he almost touches the wall.
All these drivers, they're driving so hard, you know, fair play to them. They're really pushing it out there. But they're so desperate to get some good points. Jacob nearly losing his front wing there. You can see how hard he's pushing. And Burjacks is closing that gap.
He definitely is. 1.4. Is he going to be able to get it down and attack this time out? Possibly. If he can get a good exit, he'll get the gap below a second. Where's the detection point? Is it just after this corner on the exit here?
I think it is, yeah. I think it is just on the exit there.
There's so many white lines, obviously, where it is a street track. And you can see the other part of the track running parallel. But Burjacks, does he have DRS? He's got very low on us. He's only on 8%. So Jacob on 37. And Kinney is low as well in his 20s. So Kinney's going all out for this.
Yeah, you can see that Kinney is going to be desperate to keep the lead here, but it's going to be so difficult. You can see the extra grip Burjacks has got. He's got DRS as they head into the now infamous turn 3 in this race. Is he going to have a look? No, he thinks better of it.
Oh, you can see Kinney sliding as he enters the corner. The car just does not want to grip and actually gets hit by the Mercedes. The Mercedes taps him. Any damage done to the front wing of that Mercedes? I don't think so, but Jacob's now back in this. We've got a three-way fight for the lead, Cole.
Yeah, this is going to be all the way to the end now. You can see how hard Berjaks is driving. Almost spun Kinney around. Luckily managed to stay on the track for Kinney. As look how close these top three are now.
Yeah, literally pushing each other through the castle section. And at the moment, Berjaks has those, grippier tyres, but Jacob on the hard compounder tyres, Cole, in a few laps' time, I suspect them to be quicker.
Yes, I would have thought so, because these tyres, they're not going to last forever. We're coming towards the end of the race now. We've only got a couple of laps. Is Berjaks, and as well, he's not in a position where he can just take his time and wait until the end of the last but one lap, because he's got Jacob handing him.
Here we go then, Colt, down the main straight. The DRS is about to open on the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Is Kinney going to lose both positions here? Has he done enough down this main straight to keep it? We've got a rubbish camera angle, and he has. When there's contact, the Mercedes taps the McLaren, almost sends him into the wall, and hopefully he tucks in, because I feel like if he was to get the pass done then, touches him again, I think.
Yes, and this time he does gain the advantage, so to be honest, I expect to see Berjaks in the steward's room with Kinney there, because he did make contact and he did gain an advantage there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see from Kinney's point of view how much contact there was on the rear. But now Jacob's going to desperately try and get past. But through this middle section of the track, Colt, there is just nowhere to go as Gazza now gets the gap down under 10 seconds. And the Ferrari weaving, because he knows that this potentially could be costing him a chance to fight for the race win the last couple laps. Yeah,
exactly that. Jacob now all over the back of Kinney. Kinney is a sitting duck at this stage, you feel, with his 12-lap old hards. And Berjaks now, he's got that important 1 second lead, so he's not going to be in threat of DRS.
No, he definitely isn't. And you can see Jacob able to be a bit more aggressive on the curbs there. Apologies to the drivers behind that we're not able to show on the screen at the moment, but this was for the win, this was for the podium positions, and Berjaks looks like he's come to join the championship challenge here in the P3 tier.
Without a shadow of a doubt, and this is going to be crucial last couple of laps for Jacob as well, because he's going to be desperate to try and there you can see him now. DRS wide open on the outside of Kinney, and the move is done before turn one. Now, can Jacob catch Berjaks in the last couple of laps? You feel as though this could be... I have a feeling, Nick, that the hard tyre at this stage is the better tyre.
Yeah, I have to agree, and there's only a lap difference between them. I think, Cole, what's really interesting is this isn't just a battle for the race win. This tells all the drivers who are racing later on tonight that is it worth stopping is the race winning strategy stopping under a lap one safety car, or is it better not to? Berjaks didn't, Jacob did.
Yeah, which just shows that, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in this race, certainly. So it's going to be a bit of a mind test for the drivers in P2 and P3. And Jacob, you can see how hard he's pushing.
Oh, close to the wall through that castle section. Kinney following through. I think Kinney's had another really good race, so this would be 3 consecutive podiums if it finishes how it is now. JL Mason looks like he's closing in on his teammate Jamie as we get through almost towards the end of lap 24. 2 laps to go, and Berjaks desperately trying to keep that gap over a second. But what can the current championship leader do about it?
Yes, can he? Look, he's just outside DRS at this stage. I'm just going to have a little look to see. So, Jacob's only got 12% ERS. Berjaks only has 8%. So,
what's happened here? As Berjaks has made a mistake, because look, the gap's gone down to 7/10 of a second. They both flashing, so no one's using ERS. Does Jacob get DRS? He did get DRS. Berjaks, I think, touched the wall potentially there, Cole.
Yes, maybe he did. I think these medium tyres, Nick, are starting to go. you feel as though this is now Burjak's race, but there's a car ahead, and crucially, that could give Burjak some DRS.
So that is, what, a lapped car that we're approaching, Cole?
Yes, that would be Dr. Mew. So that's Dr. Mew in the RB. Now he's going to get caught. Hopefully he'll get out of the way, but it could, if they time it right, Burjak could get DRS.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to ghost through him at this stage. Yeah, Dr. Mew getting out of the way, even though ghosting is on. And yeah, Burjak's definitely quicker in this middle section of the track. Yellow flags, what's happened here? Just coincided with your dad getting past Jamie, but it was nothing to do with that. Gaza quietly happy in fourth, I suspect. Blue flag still flashing for Dr. Mew, but I don't think Jacob is going to be able to get this done.
No, I'm surprised at that. Burjak has managed to pull out a crucial half a second, which will mean that he's free of DRS. Now, I don't think he's going to get close enough, Jacob, now. Not quite, he's just outside DRS. So I think Jacob has got probably one more opportunity into turn 3.
Yeah, obviously there is the run down to the finish line on the final straight. The finish line's quite late
true.
on. We have seen passes in real life there before. Jamie hanging on now to the back of JR Mason. And yeah, so to me, it looks like Jacob has got much better straight line speed, but ultimately the Mercedes is able to bring that gap out through the middle part of the track.
Yes, now here he goes. Jacob does have DRS. This is pretty much his last chance. He's using all his DRS. Is he close enough, Nick? I don't think he's quite close enough.
No, wrong type of corner to go for a lunge. 90-degree left-hander would never end well. The car behind, the car in front wouldn't be able to react. But look how close he is here, literally pushing him through this section. So he's going to try potentially and stay this close. If he can, it's going to be a run down to the line, Cole.
It really is. They've got roughly the same amount of VRS, so it's going to be down to how slippery is your car? How much downforce have you got? Jacob, as he touches the wall, he gets so close through the castle. Both drivers so close. Oh, look how close it is.
My gosh, Burjak struggling with the rear now on those 8-lap old mediums. Cole, this is going to be potentially our most exciting finish ever that we've commentated on, or that I can remember. You can see now into this last braking zone. No mistakes from these boys. One more braking zone to go, and then it's going to be the run down to the line, Cole. I'm going to let you run us through this.
Here he goes then. Jacob nailing the ERS. Oh, he clips the inside wall. That will scrub speed, but he is catching. You can see he's catching him. He's catching him. Is it going to be enough? Where's the DRS? You can see the DRS. The DRS is there. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Jacob does it. What a race.
Oh, 1.5 tenths of a second between the top two. What a finish here in One Hub Racing of the P3 tier. Incredible. Kine takes third position. Gaza is going to come across the line to take fourth. But, oh my goodness, if you've been watching this race, what a finish between those two. And fair play to them. There was no, weaving or anything like that, Cole. It was pure, fair driving. And you can see Ride Dog's happy in fifth position. Miles is going to recover to sixth. What a finish. 1.5 tenths separating first and second.
Absolutely stunning. You've got a feel for Burjak. I honestly didn't think that he was going to manage to do that. But Nick, you called it. You called it. You called the run to the finish line. It's been so long. The DRS is crucially before the start line. And Jacob timed it to absolute perfection.
Well, there you have it. Jacob adds another win to his name, but I guarantee you he'll be sweating after that one, just managing to beat his rival Burjak. But I have to say, Burjak has arrived to the party, the championship party, and and Quinn has just crashed his car before he's crossed the finish line. So can we hide or has it? No, did he cross the finish line?
I'm just trying to think. I think he has crossed it.
He has crossed it.
Yes, because he's got the checkered flag to his name, so yeah, he's good.
Okay. So, Cole, it's time to pick our Sim Racing Setups driver of the day. What a race it is. Who are you going for?
Oh, my word. Do you know what? I think I'm going to have to give it to Gazaman. Up there. I'm just going to double check. I think he was fourth, wasn't
He
he?
was fourth, yeah.
Yeah, that's a brilliant drive from Gazaman. I got to be honest. He's been away from the league racing scene for a while. And that is a absolutely tremendous drive from Gazaman. So my question for you is, Gaza, how happy are you with a fourth place result around such a tricky track?
Alrighty, and I'm going to give mine to Jacob because obviously he took that penalty for a new engine and started in 12th, and he played the perfect race, and to do that on the last lap in that fashion was incredible. So, yeah, well done to him. He is my sim racing setup driver of the day. My question to you is, that last lap, incredible. How did it feel from inside the car? I'll let you quickly run through the order, Cole.
And today's winner is Jacob. Burjack's in second, getting another podium in the McLaren. Then we have Gaza, Rydog, Miles, the two Williams drivers of Mason and Jamie. Quinn in 9th, Shiesty in 10th, the Fury Formula in 11th. Dr. Mew gets a point for 12th place. Well done, Dr. Mew. And then Hockey Nye, Zontal, Marks, and I wasn't quick enough, but Guest, Linfack, Jack Craig, Matthias, and Bolton. Unfortunately, all DNF'd, and a lot of them, Nick, in turn 3.
Yes, well, we are going to have to shoot off, Cole, because the P2 tier is starting at 6 o'clock, so the commentators are there ready to go. So we need to get out of the way off the Twitch channel, but don't go anywhere if you're watching, because the P2 tier, our closest tier, probably in One Hub history, is about to get underway. Of course, Cole, we best thank our sponsors. We couldn't offer what we offer here at One Hub Racing without them. So Next Level Racing have been supporting us for seasons with great prizes. Big thanks to them. Sim Racing Setups, obviously you can get a discount by using our code. And of course, if you win the Sim Racing Setups Driver of the Day, you can win a £10 voucher to use off of their setups. Pure Sim Gear, of course, you can get their sim racing socks and gloves and use the code OHR10P to get your discount. Vespertine, who we're partnered with, and of course have all our official merchandise, and of course Colin SimGrid, we run all of our championships through. Final thoughts, Cole, 30 seconds left before we head off.
What a race. And if that's what we've got lined up for P2 and P1, stay tuned.
Thanks everyone. Carry on and enjoy the P2 tier. Big thanks to everyone who's watched our stream, and hope you enjoyed that finish. We will see you next week in Imola.